What if there were an island in Hawaii where tourists aren't allowed at all? No flights, no hotels, no selfie spots, just silence and secrets. This is Niʻihau, known as Hawaii's Forbidden Island, a place frozen in time, sealed off from the world, and shrouded in mystery. But why is it forbidden, and what's really happening there? When most people dream of Hawaii, they picture the postcard-perfect shores of Oahu, the fiery volcanoes of the Big Island, the luxurious resorts of Maui, or the emerald cliffs of Kauai. These islands are world-renowned, drawing millions of tourists each year with promises of paradise surf, sun, and spectacle. But what if there was one Hawaiian island that was never meant to be seen by outsiders? Just off the coast of Kauai, across the shimmering blue channel, there lies another island, smaller, flatter, and strangely quiet. On rare, clear days, you can spot it from the western shores of Kauai, a brownish sliver on the horizon, easily mistaken for a mirage. Locals might point it out and lower their voice as if sharing a secret. That island is Niʻihau, and unlike the rest of Hawaii, it's not open to the world. Tourists can't fly there, there are no hotels, no restaurants, no tour guides waving brochures. It's completely closed off. The only signs of life are whispers of movement, distant cattle, rustling trees, and the occasional hum of a helicopter. Since the 1950s, it's been known by a chilling nickname, the Forbidden Island. Few have been there, fewer still have stayed. Niʻihau was once a peaceful, self-sustaining home for ancient Hawaiians, thriving in isolation and harmony. But over time, outside forces crept in, shifting its fate. What was once a quiet sanctuary slowly became a place wrapped in mystery and speculation. In 1864, a Scottish widow named Elizabeth Sinclair stepped onto Hawaiian soil with ambition in her heart and gold in her hands. She had sailed across oceans seeking opportunity and found it in a conversation with King Kamehameha V. The king, facing financial pressure and foreign interest, agreed to sell the entire island of Niʻihau for $10,000 in gold. But there was one condition, that the culture and people of Niʻihau be protected. Elizabeth Sinclair made that promise. From that moment forward, the Sinclair family didn't just own land, they became guardians of a way of life. They vowed to keep Niʻihau free from the growing wave of colonial influence. While the rest of Hawaii fell deeper into American hands, Niʻihau held on. No sugar plantations, no railroads, no high-rise hotels, just the island, its people, and the promise. As decades passed, the family legacy continued. The island's ownership eventually passed down to the Robinson family, descendants of Elizabeth Sinclair. They continued her mission with a rare intensity, tightening the island's boundaries, restricting access, and drawing an invisible curtain around Niʻihau. Visitors were discouraged. Development was rejected. Even Hawaiian state officials found themselves turned away. And so, while the world modernized, cell towers rising, highways sprawling, Niʻihau slipped further and further into isolation. Some called it preservation, others called it control. But whatever it was, it created something utterly unique, an entire island where time, it seemed, had stood still. The Robinsons still own Niʻihau today, and the promise made over 150 years ago still echoes through the dusty paths and wind-blown shores. And this part changed everything for the island's future. But promises, as history shows, are never quite so simple. As the years rolled on, the Robinson family held tight to the promise their ancestor had made. But upholding tradition came at a cost and required boundaries that few other places on Earth dared to set. Unlike its island siblings, Niʻihau has no paved roads. The paths that wind through the island are dirt and dust, walked or traveled by horseback and old pickup trucks. There's no electrical grid, no Wi-Fi, no cell service, just generators, the sun and silence. Even mail doesn't arrive daily. The island moves to a rhythm untouched by the outside world. And that's no accident. The Robinsons made a choice. Niʻihau would remain closed to outsiders. No commercial tourism, no guided hikes, no luau dinners on the beach. If you want to visit, you need a personal invitation, either from a resident or the Robinson family themselves. And those invitations, they're rare, extremely rare. It's not just about protecting land. According to the family, it's about preserving culture, especially the Hawaiian language, which remains the primary language spoken on Niʻihau. The island is one of the last places where native Hawaiian is still used in everyday conversation. Children grow up speaking it before English. Traditions are passed down, not printed out. To the Robinsons, allowing tourists or development would be the beginning of the end. But over time, the rules became more than just cultural boundaries, they became barriers. Even Hawaiian state officials can't freely visit. Emergency workers must get permission. Cameras are often banned, journalists face heavy restrictions, and the people who live there, they rely heavily on the Robinsons for employment, transportation, and access to the outside world. At what point does preservation cross the line into control? For some, Niʻihau is a sanctuary, sacred and unspoiled. For others, it's a locked box where freedom is traded for tradition, and secrecy shields more than just culture. So, the question lingers. Is this truly about protecting a way of life or hiding one? The deeper you dig into Niʻihau's story, the more that line begins to blur. For the handful of people who call Niʻihau home, somewhere between 70 to 100 permanent residents, life runs on a rhythm that feels both ancient and intimate. Everyone knows everyone. Birthdays are remembered without Facebook, meals are shared without takeout menus, and time is marked not by digital clocks but by sunrises, tides, and passing seasons. Here, Hawaiian is more than just a language, it's a lifeline. Children grow up speaking it at home, on the beaches, and in makeshift classrooms. It's not taught in school as a subject, it is school. Elders pass it on through stories, chants, and songs. English is spoken too, but it's Hawaiian that carries the soul of the island. In a world that's rapidly losing indigenous languages, Niʻihau remains a rare stronghold. There are no supermarkets here, no shopping malls, no fast food chains. If a family runs out of rice or medicine, they wait, sometimes days, for supplies to arrive by boat or helicopter from Kauai. There's no hospital, only basic medical help from trained community members. If something serious happens, evacuation is the only option, and that's weather permitting. Still, daily life moves forward with remarkable resilience. Families hunt wild boar, fish in the Pacific, and gather fruits growing in the dry, dusty terrain. Women craft intricate shell lays from the rare Niʻihau shells, each piece taking weeks to complete. These aren't souvenirs, they're works of art, sometimes worth thousands of dollars, and a major source of income. It's a tight-knit community, one built on mutual dependence and trust. Children play barefoot, neighbors help each other fix roofs and catch dinner. And yet, not everyone romanticizes it. Some former residents and critics have another word for life on Niʻihau. Stuck. No Wi-Fi, no entertainment, limited healthcare, controlled access to the outside world. Younger generations often leave for better opportunities, and many never return. So what happens to a culture when its keepers slowly drift away? For now, Niʻihau stands quiet and proud, but aging, a living time capsule surrounded by the roar of modern life it refuses to let in. But how long can an island hold on to the past before the future catches up? For a place that prides itself on peace and tradition, Niʻihau has a strange companion lurking in the background, the United States military. Despite being closed to tourists, journalists, and even most Hawaiian citizens, the island isn't entirely off limits to one group, the Navy. The US military has quietly leased portions of Niʻihau for radar stations, training exercises, and defense operations. You won't find tanks rolling through or fighter jets screaming overhead, but the presence is very real and very controlled. To the Robinson family, this partnership is practical. It brings in funding, jobs, and a sense of protection. But here's the twist most people don't know. The island isn't just preserving culture, it's quietly serving national defense. But to many outsiders, the military's quiet foothold on such an off-limits island raises eyebrows. How does a land meant to be a cultural sanctuary also serve as a strategic military outpost? That contradiction isn't new. In fact, Niʻihau's most infamous brush with history happened during wartime. And this part changed everything for the island's future. On December 7, 1941, just hours after the attack on Pearl Harbor, a wounded Japanese fighter pilot crash-landed on Niʻihau, mistakenly thinking it was uninhabited. What followed was chaos, fear, and betrayal. The residents, isolated and without radio, didn't even know war had begun. Over several days, they debated what to do with the injured stranger. At first, they treated him with kindness, but as the word slowly reached the island about Pearl Harbor, trust broke. The situation spiraled. Some residents helped the pilot, others tried to stop him. A deadly struggle unfolded in the shadows of paradise. This event became known as the Niʻihau Incident, a chilling footnote in World War II history. Since then, the island's reputation as a place of secrecy and control has only grown. The incident fueled wartime paranoia, but also wrapped Niʻihau in deeper mystery. What else could happen or be hidden on an island no one's allowed to enter? So, here's the unsettling question. Is Niʻihau truly protected from the outside world, or is it being used by it? Whatever the truth, the island's silence makes sure we can only guess. For decades, Niʻihau has existed like a shadow behind the Hawaiian sunset, beautiful, silent, and largely unseen. But with that silence comes speculation, and as with anything hidden from view, people start to wonder. Some say the island is too closed off, not just to protect culture, but to control it. Former residents and critics have raised concerns about life on Niʻihau being less idyllic than it seems. While the Robinson family presents the island as a haven for tradition, others describe it as a place where personal freedoms are limited, movement is monitored, and dependency on the family is absolute. The Robinsons own the land, the jobs, and the only way in or out. Supplies, transportation, and even income opportunities are funneled through them. Residents who want to leave the island often rely on their families for permission or resources, and those who speak out rarely stay long.
So the question remains, what is Niʻihau really protecting, its people or its power? When everything's a secret, anything can be believed, and that's how Niʻihau became Hawaii's most mysterious island. Very few people can say they've set foot on Niʻihau. Even fewer can say they did it freely, but on rare occasions the island's doors open just slightly, and a select few are allowed to peek inside. Military personnel are the most common outsiders, flown in for training exercises or radar operations. They land, do their job, and leave, often without interacting with residents. Their access is functional, not cultural, and always controlled. Relatives of Niʻihau residents are sometimes permitted to visit. These trips are short, emotionally charged, and usually under close supervision. For families divided between Niʻihau and Kauai, even a brief reunion can feel like crossing a border into another world. Journalists? Almost never, but there have been exceptions. In the 1990s, National Geographic was granted rare permission to visit. Their crew was allowed to document aspects of daily life, but even they faced strict rules. No unapproved filming, no wandering, every shot is monitored, every question was vetted. What they found was what many had suspected, a land of striking natural beauty. Wide open fields, clean skies, untouched beaches, but also a deep sense of quiet. A silence that wasn't just peaceful but watchful. The island felt like it was holding its breath, even as the cameras rolled. Some visitors describe it as stepping into the past, others as stepping into a dream. But all of them agree, you never feel alone on Niʻihau, even when no one's around. So who decides who gets to see Niʻihau and who doesn't? And why are some allowed a glimpse, while the rest of the world stares from afar? In a place where secrets are sacred, the few who enter become part of the story. But even they don't get to know how it ends. Niʻihau is often praised as one of the last true keepers of Hawaiian tradition. The language, customs, and values that have faded elsewhere still live and breathe here, untouched by neon signs or smartphone screens. For cultural purists, it's a triumph, proof that heritage can survive the flood of modern life. But that preservation comes at a price. There are no high schools on Niʻihau, no hospitals, no higher education or steady career paths. If a child wants to study beyond the basics, they have to leave. If someone gets seriously sick or injured, they must be flown to Kauai, weather permitting. And once someone leaves the island for good, most don't return. The result is a slow, quiet exodus. Niʻihau's younger generation is drifting away, pulled by education, opportunity, and the lure of a life less restricted. What remains is an aging population and a shrinking community, trying to carry a culture on their backs with fewer hands to help. This has sparked a deeply emotional debate. Is Niʻihau a living museum or a forgotten village? Some argue that isolation is the only way to protect a culture this fragile. Others say culture must evolve, not freeze. Otherwise, what survives is only the shell of tradition, not its heart. Niʻihau faces a paradox. Its isolation preserves tradition, but also risks losing it. As the world races ahead, will it stay untouched or eventually yield to modern needs like healthcare and education? Change feels inevitable, but many hope otherwise. But it raises an uncomfortable question. Who gets to decide the fate of an island and the people who live on it? If you like this video, please give a thumbs up, and if you like more updates, subscribe to our channel. As the world grows more curious, the Robinsons grow more guarded, and while the rest of Hawaii evolves, Niʻihau continues to stand still, wrapped in mystery, defended by tradition, and defined by what it refuses to become. In the end, maybe the real challenge isn't unlocking Niʻihau's secrets, but learning how to balance respect for privacy with the world's insatiable need to know more. Niʻihau is a land of contradictions, private yet endlessly speculated about, frozen in time yet quietly evolving. Maybe the real mystery isn't just that it's forbidden, but that in a world obsessed with access and answers, a place like this still dares to say no. Untouched, unfiltered, unresolved. If the secrets of this island sent a chill down your spine, give us a like and subscribe for more hidden corners of the world. And tell us in the comments, if the gates to Niʻihau open tomorrow, would you step inside? Maybe Niʻihau's greatest secret isn't what it hides, but that in 2025 it still exists exactly as it wants to. If you liked this video, please give a thumbs up, and if you like more updates, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell icon so you don't miss any videos and get notifications on time. Don't hesitate to give suggestions for our videos. See you in the next one.